Hello student, myself Nimesh Prabhakar. Welcome to Antenna and Propagation lecture series. In this lecture, we discuss first about the Friis transmission formula and then next we discuss about the antenna field zone. So in this lecture, we discuss about these two topics. So now we start with the Friis transmission formula. So first one question come in our mind. What is the importance of Friis transmission formula? Why we study Friis transmission formula? So we understand the importance of Friis transmission formula and why we study the Friis transmission formula. So the Friis transmission formula was developed by Professor H.T. Friis. This formula is used in obtaining the power received by receiver. That means here in this figure we can see there is two antenna. One is the transmitting antenna and second one is the receiving antenna. So transmitting antenna is radiates some amount of the power. And now we want to know how much power is received by the receiving antenna, that we can find by using this Friis transmission formula. So that's why we study the Friis transmission formula. So by using the Friis transmission formula, we can know about the how much power is received by the receiver. This formula is based on the concept of effective aperture. Here in this figure we can see there is one transmitter and this transmitter is connected with the transmitting antenna, and AET is indicate the effective aperture of transmitting antenna. Same as here the R is indicate the receiver is connected with the receiving antenna, and the AER is indicate the effective aperture of the receiver. So this is the communication link. Now here we consider the PT is indicate the transmitting antenna power, same as PR is indicate the receiving antenna power. Now AET is indicate the effective aperture of the transmitting antenna, and same as AER is indicate the effective aperture of the receiving antenna. Assuming that the transmitting antenna is isotropic. So now here we consider this transmitting antenna is the isotropic antenna. Then the power received by receiving antenna given by PR is equal to PT upon 4 pi d square. Here we know that the PT is the transmitting antenna power, and here the D is indicate the distance between the transmitting and the receiving antenna. Now, if the GT is the gain of the transmitting antenna, then the power density, or we can say the receiving power, we can write as PD is equals to GT into PT upon 4 pi d square. That means we have multiplied the gain with the receiving power. So let AER, we consider the AER is the with the effective aperture of the receiving antenna, then the receiving power is given by PR is equals to GT into PT upon 4 pi d square into AER. But we know that GT is nothing but the 4 pi AET upon lambda square. So now we substitute the value of GT in this equation, that means in the equation number 3. So we get the PR is equals to PT AET AER upon d square lambda square. Now effective aperture of transmitting antenna and receiving antenna can be expressed as AET is equals to lambda square 4 pi into GT. This is the relation between the effective aperture of the transmitting antenna and the gain of the transmitting antenna. Same as we can write the relation between the receiving antenna effective aperture and the gain of the receiving antenna is the AER is equals to lambda square 4 pi into GR. Now we substitute this value in the equation number 5 and equation, that means equation number 5 and equation number 6, value of AET and AER we substitute in the equation number 4. So we get PR is equals to PT and the value of AET is the lambda square upon 4 pi into GT, and the AER value is the lambda square 4 pi upon GR upon lambda square D square. So when we solve this equation, so we get PR is equals to PT GT GR lambda upon 4 pi D square. So this equation is known as the Friis transmission formula or Friis transmission equation. So by using this equation, we can find the receiver power or the receiving power. So we can see this is the receiving power is depend on the transmitting antenna power, gain of the transmitting antenna and gain of the receiving antenna, and the distance between the two antenna. That means transmitting antenna and receiving antenna distance. So this is the Friis transmission formula. Now we discuss about the second one topic. This is the antenna field zone. So there are mainly two principal region of zone of the antenna. First one is the far field region and the second one is the near field region, or is also known as the Fresnel region or Fraunhofer region. Now near field region is also divided into two categories. First one is the reactive near field region and the second one is the radiating near field region. So we can classify the antenna region in the mainly three categories: far field region, then reactive near field region and radiating near field region. We can understand by using this figure. This means the green portion is indicate the far field region, same as the near field region is divided into the two portions. The yellow portion is indicate the radiating near field region and the pink portion is indicate the reactive near field region. So this is the antenna field zone. Now we understand one by one. So first we understand the reactive near field region. This region is very close to antenna where the reactive field is dominating. The boundary of the reactive near field exists at R is less than 0.62 under root lambda L square upon lambda. So here the L is indicate the largest dimension of antenna. That means L is indicate the dimension or the we can say the length of the antenna. So for this region the boundary is the R. That means R is the radius. We know that the radius boundary for the propagation of the wave. The R is less than 0.62 under root L square upon lambda. So this is the reactive near field region. Now second one region is the radiating near field region. It is also the types of the near field region. So this is a radiating near field region. This region exists in between the reactive near field and far field region. For this region, the distance from the antenna is taken to be 0.62 under root L square upon lambda less than or equals to R less than or equals to 2L square upon lambda. So here this region is in between the reactive near field and far field region. So and the boundary condition for this region is by using, we can find by using this formula. Antenna pattern start taking shape in this region but not complete. So in this region the antenna wave that propagate, that means it start taking the shape but is not complete. And the last one region of the antenna is the far field region. In this region the angular field distribution is independent of distance from the antenna. The boundary for this region exists at R is equals to 2L square upon lambda. In this region, radiation pattern is completely formed. That means in this region, the propagation wave, that radiation pattern is completely formed. The electric and magnetic field vector are orthogonal to each other and wavefront become planar approximately. So this is the last one region, this is the far field region. Now we solve some example related to this chapter. So here in this example, the antenna has radiation resistance of 72 ohm and the loss resistance of 8 ohm. So here the radiation resistance is given 72 ohm and loss resistance is also given 8 ohm. Same as the power gain is also given 12 dB. So we have to determine the antenna efficiency and directivity. So here given the R radiate, that means radiation resistance is a 72 ohm, and R loss, that means the loss resistance is also given 8 ohm, and GP, that means the antenna gain power or the gain, we can say that is the 12 dB. So the antenna radiation efficiency is given by, that means we can find by using this equation as a eta R is equals to R radiate upon R radiate plus R loss. So we have the value of the R radiate and R loss. So now we substitute the value of this in this equation. So we get the efficiency is the 0.9. So when we convert into the percentage, so we get the 90%. And we have the power gain is the 12 dB. So we have to convert this gain in the dB into the watt. So from this equation we can convert the power gain, dB into the watt. So GP is equals to anti-log 10 GP by 10. So we have the value of the GP is the 12 upon 10. So we get the 15.8489. And GP is, we know that the GP is equals to eta R into D. So we have we can write this equation as a D is equals to GP upon eta R. So the GP value is, we have the 15.8489 upon the efficiency we have 0.9. So we get the 17.6099. Now we convert this value into dB. So we can get 10 log 10, that means dB. So we get the directivity is equals to 12.4575 dB. So the antenna directivity is the 12.4575 and the efficiency is the 0.9. So we get the efficiency and the directivity. Now, second one example. What is the effective area of half wave dipole operating at 500 megahertz? So we have to find the effective area for the half wave dipole. Here we have here the given is the frequency, that means operating frequency is the 500 megahertz. So we can find the value of the lambda, that means the wavelength is equals to C by F, and we know the value of the C is 3 into 10 raised to 8, and the F is also given 500, and the megahertz we have converted, so 10 raised to 6. So we get the lambda is 0.6 meter. Now the effective area of the antenna is given by AEM is equals to GD maximum lambda square upon 4 pi. We know that the GD maximum is nothing but the directivity. So D into lambda square upon 4 square. And for the half wave dipole, the directivity value is the 1.644. So we get the effective aperture, effective area for the half wave dipole is the 0.047 meters square. Now the third one example. Consider the two similar dipoles having the length of 3 cm. Used as a transmitting and receiving antenna. Find the power received by the receiving antenna if it is placed at the distance of 10 meter from the transmitting antenna, which is radiating 15 watt average power at the frequency is equals to 1 gigahertz. So here we have frequency is given, F is equals to 1 gigahertz, and the distance between the transmitting antenna and receiving antenna is also given, D is equals to 10 meter, and transmitting power is also given, PT is equals to 15 watt. So we can find, we know that, so here the two antenna is similar, so we can write the gain of the transmitting antenna and receiving antenna is the same. So GT GR is equals to 1.5, and so by using the Friis transmission formula, we can write the PR is equal to PT GT GR lambda upon 4 pi D whole square. So we can find the lambda value by using this equation. Lambda is equal to C by F. So we get the lambda is equal to 0.3 meter. And now we substitute this value in this equation. So we get the PR is equal to 0.1923 milliwatt. So this is the answer of the receiving antenna. So power of the receiving antenna is 0.1923 milliwatt. Thank you.